Lecture topic: Sacrifice for knowledge.
Knowledge of Deen is acquired by sacrifice. In the times that we are in, the sacrifice is very, very minimal. And compared to what sacrifices people made previously, they would not even refer to it as sacrifice. They would refer to it as acquiring ilm in luxury. The incidents of the Salaf, the pious predecessors, there are many, many ajib incidents in their lives. But one aspect about the very recent past, one of the greatest authorities of hadith sharif in this recent past was Sheikh Yunus Saharanpuri rahmatullah alayh. He came to the madrasa on 2 occasions. So in any case, he passed away some 6-7 years ago, 5-6 years ago. So one ajib incident of his, somebody sent out last night, that he mentioned once about his own situation, once for the targheeb and for the encouragement of students. When he was studying, there was one kitab which was, he didn't have that kitab, and one fellow student had the kitab. So he borrowed it from him, but now he had to return it the next morning. So he borrowed it that evening, and the next morning he had to return it. So he needed to keep that kitab for himself, but he couldn't buy it anywhere else. And he had no money to acquire it in some way. So in any case, the food for the night, the madrasa would probably, I think, give them 1 roti, or whatever it was, that was it. So he sold that to buy 1 notebook. He bought the notebook with it. Then he sat the whole night and he copied that kitab by hand. But now he hadn't eaten anything for the evening, because that food that he had been given, which was now for the only food that he had available, that he had sold it to buy that notebook. So he says the whole night he crouched and he put a pillow under his stomach and crouched over it. And in that condition, so that the hunger pangs are stemmed, and in order to be able to then continue writing, by the morning he had completed copying that entire kitab by hand, and he then returned the kitab. Now these are incidents that used to be heard about in the previous times. Person now came to study, so now he needed a dictionary, because so much of the work is all going to be dependent on having access to a dictionary, and he had no dictionary. He went to the library, and over a couple of days he copied by hand the whole dictionary. So now those incidents that used to be done in that time, something of that nature is now of the very recent past. And this was the way in which they sacrificed, they undertook whatever came in their way, but didn't hesitate in making any sacrifice required in order to acquire ilm. Then they reach where they reached. So the point is that the true ilm comes with sacrifice. It doesn't come by a person trying to cut corners, and especially shirking in whatever the fundamentals are, and in the things that are required of a student of deen. Wants to try and just do everything by just lazing around, wasting time in other things, spending time in the night now, sitting and talking stories, whatever else. That's not the way that ilm comes. Ilm comes by spending the time in the way that it's meant to be spent. And there are sacrifices to be made. As mentioned in our times, what sacrifices are made, fair enough, it's sacrifice. But compared to what people did previously, then it's not even, we can't count it as 1% also. But inshallah, if we make the right effort in this time and age as well, then because of our weakness, we won't be required to do those things that people did before. But we make that necessary effort that is required in this time and age, stay away from things we are supposed to refrain from, avoid just sitting around and idling and in just company and talking stories and wasting time in other things. Put our effort in our work, and obviously with taqwa, with the consciousness of Allah Ta'ala, then that what Allah blessed the people of the past, He'll bless us as well, inshallah. Allah Ta'ala give us.
अल्लाह अल्लाह कैसा प्यारा नाम है, आशिकों का मीना और जाम है।